for this presentation and your evaluation, I'll be structuring it in two parts. One is content and delivery. So let's get started with the content of the speech. First and foremost, there is one very interesting way of hooking people. That is to give them a puzzle. So that they are just involved in the process, they're thinking about it, they're getting engaged. So when you started your speech, you threw a puzzle box sort of a question. So people were actively engaged in that time. And they're trying to figure out, okay, what is the next thing? How do I piece this thing together? So that was done very well and very smart. Because initially, if you don't hook the audience, everything goes awry. So this was a very well put together book. Now moving to the second thing. One thing that you talked about was how thumb is such a significant part of us being human, right? And to support that, you gave so many different examples. And that actually builds more trust in terms of the content. Like, okay, you gave an example, now you're giving, you put up a point and you're giving the example, which is supporting it. So that was done very well. Other than that, I also observed that you presented examples from your life when you're trying to put forward an idea. For example, you're talking about different leadership styles and how it has to change with context. And then you showed like you met your senior colleague at a conference, how you had to deal with the situation, and he was not very reciprocative, and he was not not able to recognize you. How do you deal with that situation? So that was a very interesting and very structured paper, because I could now relate and understand, okay, I can apply this here where it has to go. So that was done very well. Now coming over to delivery, here are some very interesting things I noticed. First and foremost, your words and content, they follow your gesture. When you were talking about the thumb, your thumb was out. When you were talking about running, you were actually moving around. So that was done very well. Other than that, I also noticed you were also playing with your voice. That is very interesting. Like for example, when you wanted to bring down some kind of a grim emphasis, like you talked about this phrase of desired results, the tone went down. And then you talked about productive environment. You're talking about like how high stress the factory setting is. You have to be very energetic. Like I'm already under so much pressure. That was done very well. But I also observed some interesting things you could have played with, which actually towards the end it actually fell flat. So what is the issue is, whenever we are presenting things, people are only able to understand the difference of anything. Like for example, the color difference or voice tonality difference. If you just maintain the same pace, it gets monotonous. So what I observed was when you were shifting from point 1 to 2, you should have made a pause, just like this. It builds anticipation and also clears out previous perceptions and lets them absorb the whole impact. And even at when you were trying to end the speech, you talked about like just do it. It was very powerful, but it also needed a very low at the beginning, like just a kind of a very slow, low voice or probably a pause, and then you just bring it up with a just do it. That will drive home the impact and will create that difference that we're looking for. Overall, just to summarize your presentation, I would say very well structured and delivered speech. For refinement, I would encourage you can add deliberate pauses just to create that differentiation in your presentation.